Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Mother, take us from unreal to real. Take us from ignorance to wisdom to knowledge. To be aware, take us from death to immortality. Mother, Ya Devi Sarva Bhutesu Gyana Rupe Samastita Namastasya 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 Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarva Bhutesu Bhakti Rupe Samastita Namastasya 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 Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarva Bhutesu Matrirupe Samastita Namastasya 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 Namo Namah. So welcome back. Good to see you once again. So we have been doing a bit of beautiful traveling. All of you have been traveling along, and most of you are very senior now, getting into more and more seniority into Advaita Vedanta. So Advaita is non-dual. Vedanta is the ultimate knowledge. Vedanta Nama Upanishad Brahman. Upanishads, there are more than 108 Upanishads. There are 4 Vedas. By convention, the Rig Veda is the first, and then comes Yajur Veda, then the Sama Veda, and then comes the Atharva Veda. So remember, we will now get back to Manisha Panchakam. In Manisha Panchakam, recollect the story of Shankaracharya coming back after bathing, and the Chandala. It is said by many, nobody is it described in writing, but it is said that it was Shiva himself was there to come as Chandala to show it to Shankara that this Bheda Bhedi is not Vedanta. No dualism. There is no discrimination. So recollect, what did he say? You want me to step away from your road? Which is that you want me? Is it that you are the body and I am another body? But how can it be? Because the whole universe is one. Or is it that consciousness of yours is saying that my consciousness should be stepping away? How can it be? Consciousness is only one. Shankaracharya was shaken up. Immediately, he narrated 5 poems, and the first 4 were based on the 4 Vedas, and those are called the Mahavakyas. Going back from Rig Veda, the first one, he talked about from Aitareya Upanishad, I am Atman Brahma. The consciousness alone is Brahman. The second sutra was from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Yajur Veda. I am Aham Brahmasmi. And from Samaveda, the third sutra, was very famous. Tat Tvam Asi. And from Mandakya Upanishad, Atharva Veda, came I am Atman Brahman. So we talked a little bit about the first sutra. We'll talk a little more detail about, because this is the thing which bothers even me. How can it be I am this little body, this world is everything outside together, and how can it be suddenly I am the Brahman? I am Atman Brahman. How can it be? Aham Brahmasmi. How can it be? Tat Tvamasi, it says, and Prajnana Brahman. So let's take on from there the first and the second today, a little more in detail. Look at this world. In this room, right now, filled with so many objects, a few of us, human beings, so many things, and each one of them are different. They're different objects. How can I be everything? How can I be one with all? Something is the problem. And understanding this, initially, the Advaita Vedanta is going ahead, and how Shankaracharya is explaining with the concept of neti, neti. I am not this, I am not this. So consciousness is not the object. Subject and object. Subject cannot be object. Remember, drashta cannot be drishya. I, the seer, cannot be the seen. So then, how do I explain? So understanding this, first let's get this. What is an experience? Recollect. An experience is object plus consciousness. I cannot experience anything without my consciousness. There is an object and consciousness. But in this case, in Advaita, the battle comes in front of you with my eyes. That means two. Object is one, subject is another. That object is one, and this me, subject, is another. How can it be? So let us say this, recollect, this glass cover and the glass. There are two different objects. Correct? I can experience this as a separate object. I can experience this as a separate object. So there are two objects. Let us say this is imagine this is a fountain pen. So I can remove, this is the pen and this is the cover. I can experience the cover separately than the pen, though they're put together as one fountain pen. But I can experience this pen writing part of it separate than the cover part of it, isn't it? But now look at it. Can I experience the entire ocean without the water? Can I experience the wave, the ocean, the bubble and the froth without the water? I cannot. The water is the essential ingredient for the experience of the water. Notice the pen, I could separate the two and experience. Can I experience the wave without the water? Or the ocean? Or the bubble or the froth? I cannot. Can I experience the, let's say, Tiffany in US or Tanishq in Pune or P.N. Gadgil, can I experience the gold jewelries without the gold? I say, this is gold and this is gold jewelry. Let's say I count the waves. Very difficult to count, but approximately, let's say I count 10,000. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. I count to 10,000. Can I say 10,000 waves and one water? Can I? I cannot. Because water is essential ingredient of the wave. They are one. In other words, the wave is water. The water cannot be taken away. Gold cannot be taken away. Remember the Vedanta, very famous example of the rope and the snake in the darkened alley of a temple. You're going to the temple and you find suddenly, and you feel that must be a snake, and then you say, you throw in the flashlight light and you say, no, 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 it is not, it is only a rope. Think now, the rope appeared as the snake because of my ignorance of darkness. The wave and the ocean appeared to be wave and the ocean and not the water because of my ignorance. But they cannot be separate. Just think, rope is appearing to be the snake. Perchance, supposing in like the ancient Panchatantra style, the rope could talk. Okay, with me? Vedanta is fun. The more you understand, the deeper you get into it, the more joyful, ananda. Can you ask the rope what and where does the snake come from? What is the rope going to tell you? Rope will say, what snake? The snake is an appearance, is an illusion because of you. Imagine, Swami Vivekananda walk, on the camel back in the Rajasthan desert. You all must have read it. And he found a beautiful oasis and simmering water. He had traveled already half an hour plus and he was quite thirsty. And he had other devotees following behind him. And he pointed his camel towards that. And soon enough, Vivekananda realized that is a mirage. It's an illusion. It's not an oasis. There is no water. There is no oasis. So he turned his camel back. Going backwards now. Back to the town. His knowledge, his wisdom, took away the ignorance of the mirage. And now, while going back, he looked back at the same mirage. He saw the same mirage again. But now he knew it is only a mirage. It is not real. And this is what we are practicing when we do the breathing in. I am Atman Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. Prajnana Brahman. Tattvamasi. 4 Mahavakyas. Whichever one. You don't have to say all of them. You can hold on to one. Whichever one appeals to you that day, that time. You may use another time another one. How? You will find certainly one will click you very well and you will elevate very soon. As you're doing this and you say, as you're breathing out, this world is an appearance. World is appearance of what? Appearance of the Brahman. The snake is an appearance of the rope. The jewelry is an appearance of the gold. The wave is an appearance of the water. And this is what Shankaracharya is explaining in the first stotra. Prajnana Brahman, the consciousness. Remember Mandakya Upanishads? We have the 3 prominent states. the waking state, the dream state, and the deep sleep state. In the waking state, we are experiencing so many things around. Like in this room, we started off today. But can you experience anything in the waking world without the consciousness? Can you experience the jewelry without the gold? Are you with me? Can you experience the wave of the ocean without the water? You cannot experience unless the reality is there. And this is what it means when you breathe out. This world is an appearance. Appearance of the Brahman. Brahman is consciousness. Satyam, remember Taittiriya Upanishad? Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman. Satyam, existence. This infinite ocean of existence is me. Is this earth, the planet, the Brahman, the satellites, this little mobile, this little glass, that little tiniest of the tiny creature. There might be confusion in some of our mind. So many things, so many consciousness. Now, as per Sankhya philosophy, they say that there is so many consciousness, so many jivas. They're separate. They're not together. They're not one. In Advaita, there are two. In Dvaita, Sankhya philosophy, there are two. So which gives the birth of our Krishna, Shiva, Divine Mother, Durga, Babaji, our Gurudevs, give birth to dualism. So, as per Vedanta, Brahman, with what is bringing this, what made the rope appear to be snake, is called Maya. The Maya has two properties. Recollect? The first property is the projection. So, the rope was projected as the snake. And the second is Avarana, appears to be the snake. So the Western world today, the scientists today, cannot make the connection of the consciousness as a separate thing than the mind. The mind and the consciousness, as per the Western theory, are one. Somehow they say the brain has produced the mind, and the brain and the mind, they are the ones who will produce the consciousness. Now how can it be? The basic mistake here is, they say, we have not discovered it till now, but you give us some time. See, like right in the beginning, we cannot tell you that what is life? How did it come about? So Darwinian theory, there was a big bang, and then there was water, and then subsequently evolved over millions of years and tiny microscopic, and then they kept on evolving and became the life that the Darwinian theory is coming in. In which, how did the consciousness come? That they cannot for them. They're saying, okay, see, we couldn't tell earlier what was life, but we have found out way. Now we have almost gone down to the molecules, cells, and the prana, the life itself. Same way we will do this too. They're mistaken. Thousands years ago, 5,000 years ago, Vedanta is saying, see, what they have done right now is they have taken an object and broken it down to finite and minute and explain the object. So object explaining an object is okay. You can. But how can object explain subject? How can drishya explain the drashta? It can't, because drashta is the seer. An eventual seer is the consciousness to the mind, and the mind to the eye, and the eye to the object. Recollect? Drik drishya viveka. So, subject cannot be explained through object. Object can be explained through objects. You can break it down. But today, there is Peter Stratton's son, called Julius Stratton, a very great philosopher. He is from Texas University, and he said it is the hard fact of matter. What is the hard fact of the matter? The matter cannot be explained today. Because notice what has happened over the years, all of you are aware, the matter is what the world talked about as the discovery and the life came into being. It was the matter, it was the objects. It was the earth, the planets, the thing, the trees, the planets, the earth, the fish, the dolphin, the human beings, and the objects. These are the objects, experiencing. But what is being talked about now, the subject. So there, you cannot go ahead with that principle. So, if you break down the matter, and you break it down to further and further, notice the matter is vanishing, the object is vanishing. Are you with me? So that is the hard fact of the object, the matter. It is finishing to, remember, atoms, molecule to atom, atom to subatomic, subatomic to sub-subatomic. Electric, cryon, boson, meson, and further, they're going into the particle theories to the string theories, the quantum theories going in to information and energy. The matter is vanishing to information, to energy. Quantum theory, the matter, the hard fact of the matter is that it is vanishing. The hard fact of the consciousness, there is no hard fact of consciousness. Western world is talking about hard fact of consciousness. There is Mary Newton, an Australian philosopher. She's doing a lot of good work with the Buddhism, with the Vedics, and coupling, and submitted a lot of paper. And she's talking about the possibility to explain this world. We have to get down to the Vedanta. Vedanta is the answer, possibly. The Vedanta has talked about it absolute with clarity. So now getting back to the dream state. Waking state, clear? There cannot be any world until unless I experience it. Experiencing cannot happen without awareness. Now I go off to dream. I am dreaming now. In the dream state, there are hundreds of people, maybe tigers, maybe animals, experiencing various worlds, going onto the moon, or planets are experiencing some very special spiritual masters. When I wake up, I alone was there. Which is this I? Body was lying in the bed. Body wasn't there. It was the mind alone. Body was left behind. Now you go on to deep sleep state. Body is left, mind is left. In the dream state, body is left, senses are left. Mind is there. In the deep sleep, body is left, senses are left, mind is also left. And you are in deep sleep. In the deep sleep is the third state, Mandakya Upanishad. And then the Turiya, the fourth state, is absolute. What is it? It is not absence of experience. In the deep sleep state, Vedanta is saying it is not absence of experience. It is experiencing the absence. But who is the experiencer? There is that consciousness which is in the deep sleep state, is experiencing the absence of all experience and waking up, and when the consciousness is coming back saying, I had a beautiful sleep. So the consciousness is ever prevailing and infinitely present. But you and I think this consciousness is small, this consciousness is big. The Shankaracharya is telling in Manisha Panchakam, they're starting from the Brahman, the Brahma, to Shiva, to all the gods, all the demigods, all the Gandharvas, all the human being, the animal, the planet, the tiniest of the creature. And he's talking about Pipilika, that means the ant, even the tiniest of the creature. The consciousness is one. It's spread over all. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 12 to 13, Krishna is explaining to Arjuna that one alone consciousness is there in everywhere. This is what we want you through the Manisha Panchakam. And we will get on to the other two, Tat Tvamasi and I am Atman Brahman, on the next one. So now, understanding that this consciousness is the whole world, is the entire world that you're thinking about, experiencing the world. How am I spread everywhere? Can I experience the dream without my mind there? No. I do not have dream if the mind is gone away. That means I am in deep sleep. Can I experience this world in the waking world without my awareness? No. So everything in this universe cannot be experienced without my awareness. I'm aware of this class. I'm aware of this hand. But remember this light, experiencing the light is reflecting. The light is reflecting through this. Light is reflecting through the glass, through the object. I cannot separate the wooden table from the wood. If I take away the wood, table vanishes. I cannot experience the clay pot, Mandakya Upanishad, without the clay. The clay alone remains. Recollect? The consciousness alone remains of this whole universe. And whatever you experience, whoever you experience, your husband, your wife, your children, your parent, the people, the object, the planets, anything that you're experiencing, because you are aware. Awareness is consciousness. And this is what you're practicing. As you're breathing in, let's say you're practicing Hamsa. You start, as Gurudeva has said, Hum, and say, Prajnana Brahman. And as you go up, Sat, Chit, Ananda, the divine existence, infinite existence is me. The existence is in me. And then as you're breathing out, Chit, Ananda, I am that existence consciousness, bliss. This world is an appearance of that same consciousness, Brahman. And as you're reading it again, just do this in very short time. Wonderful, powerful realization will start to come in. And the beautiful thing happens is as you do that, remember those basic principles, Shravanam, Mananam, ask questions and challenge it, read more, reflect more, and then Nididhyasanam, reflect through meditative status. Automatically. There are 4 stages of the spiritual journey. The first is Parava, which means actually those who are only enjoying sensual things. Having lots of money and party. And the second is Vishayi. Vishayi comes from Vishaya, object. They're not bad people, they're good people. Most of they're wanting Vishaya, because of which the whole world, the business world, everything is running. Vishaya. And then Sadhaka. You're going into this channel where you and I are possibly proceeding toward understanding. And the 4th stage of the spiritual journey is Siddhya. You have attained oneness. You and the consciousness are no different. When you become Paramahamsa, you and I have that possibility of becoming one in this life alone. Pray and proceed with the practice. When you become Paramahamsa Ramakrishna, when he came out from Bhava Samadhi or from Samadhi, he did not stop recognizing everybody. He did not stop recognizing Naren or his other disciples. He recognized the world. He continued to live. But he knew, I'm water in the wave. I'm not the wave. I'm not this body. I'm not this mind. Mano buddhi ahankara chittana na aham. You have a beautiful journey for the week ahead. Sacrifice, sacrifice, sacrifice. You have beautiful celebrations. Eid is going on. Yesterday, today. The Bodhis had the Eid celebration of 2 days before. You have on Monday, Raksha Bandhan. Sacrifice for those who you wish to your sister, to your brother. Give them all your love, your heart. And the most dearest thing that you have is you. And that you is not the body, not the mind, not the thoughts, something else. Realize, let's take up the journey. Akasha Shanti, Prithvi Shanti, Vayur Shanti, Agnyaya Shanti, Jalaspataya Shanti, Manaha Shanti, Uttaradesha Shanti, Dakshinaya Shanti, Purvaya Shanti, Paschimaya Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Jai.